My wife has always had this thing over me since we were young. Every time I fight her, something bad happens to my business. So if I fight her, she say, "You're fighting me, Abi. Don't worry, Shebi, your album is coming. You want to fight me?"
Now you heard Davido, actually speaking about his wife. That anytime when he fights his wife, something bad happens to his business or his hustle and all those kind of things. Not be only the video, it happened to me most times, and I kind of understand where the video is speaking from. There is something spiritual about their relationship. That is something I kind of deduce from this. There's something spiritual about their relationship. They are meant to be together and succeed together, and that is a kind of message from God. That is something I kind of understand about all of this. And thank God these guys are really together. And Davido is getting it on point. Ever since Davido got married to Choma, it on the day on point. That is, from Timeless, and now we're having 5 albums. You kind of see the kind of emotion being poured into it, love being poured into making songs, and that is really working out for this guy. On this now, we got a lot of stories actually trending, and before we dive into these stories, I want to say thank you guys for watching our videos, and thank you for the love so far. If you are new here, you can click the subscribe button below, the bell notification icon to always get notifications each time we upload our videos. Yes, Burna Boy actually spoke about the streams from Nigeria audience and streams versus from other countries audience. I got to understand this straight out. In Nigeria, when Spotify, when they pay, they don't pay much. When you have high streams in Nigeria, according to Burna Boy, he said a lot of things like, when you have 1 million streams like on Spotify, you should be talking about $450 and all those things. That is actually true. Based on report, that is actually true. According to estimate earnings for 1 million, streams in Nigeria in Naira, Spotify will pay you 400,000 to 800,000, per million streams in Nigeria. Lower payout than global stream. And we have, Apple Music is going to pay you 700,000. They pay higher, to 1.2 million, for per 1 million streams. And we got Boomplay, they pay lower, 150 thousand naira to 400,000. We got AudioMark 50,000 to 150. We got YouTube that is going to pay you 300,000 naira to 700,000, per million. And we got that is YouTube Music, and we got YouTube Video 200,000 to 500,000. That is something we got to understand from this. And Burna Boy is not far from this truth. That is something I got to understand about that. In spite of this factor, a lot of things are still, kind of hidden in all these things, according to what was really being explained by, Spotify CEO, when Snoop actually came out to say, for 1 billion streams, Spotify paid me $45,000. And then this was really disturbing at that time. A lot of people said a lot of things about Spotify. So let's listen to Spotify CEO, who said a lot of things. Some factors will make you to earn lower than your mate that has the same, streams. So let's listen to this particular man.
I gotta ask you this.
Yeah.
Have you seen the viral Snoop Dogg video? It's talking about how his music had 1 billion streams.
Yeah.
And he thinks that his check was less than $45,000.
If you have 1 billion streams on Spotify, we're going to pay out $3 to $5 million for it. The range is because it depends what countries the streams are in, and premium listeners, so on. 3 to 5 million. That's well documented. 80% or so goes to the recording side. 20% or so goes to the publishing side. For that song, I think it was Young, Wild, and Free, by Snoop, released with Atlantic, so major label. I don't know Snoop's terms. Wiz Khalifa, Bruno Mars were on the track too, so was there an advance? Someone's recouping. What are the splits there? I couldn't tell you. On the publishing side, that's around 20% of that payout, and on that song there's 13 songwriters. Ooh. And so I don't know if there's samples, I don't know what else, but there's 13 writers on that song. So when I was doing some in the back of the napkin, I think maybe Snoop was talking about just the mechanical royalties that he might have gotten from that one song. If you're DIY artist, things are pretty simple. If you own 100% of your music and you write and produce it yourself, if you have there are billion stream songs that are fully independent, that person's getting the full 3 to 5 million. Once you're signing label deals, sometimes it's great terms, right? Like maybe you get a life-changing advance and that's awesome, but you're just not going to earn as much back
in royalties.
Now you listen to the one of the executive of Spotify speaking about that when you actually sample the works or have songwriters, publishers, and all those things, instead of being an independent artist on that, you cannot earn the same thing as an independent artist because they need to remit to those people, percentages, and that will lower your earning. That is something he actually said about that. I remember I spoke about Burna Boy and Davido, Whiskey, that Davido may likely earn bigger because he has least samples compared to those of Burna Boy and Whiskey. Because when you sample somebody work, you need to actually remit to the person. We remember the story of Last Last by Burna Boy, where he has to give up about about 60% royalties and all those things. So that is really what this man is trying to explain. And he actually went further to talk about fake streams, how they are able to detect fake streams, because a lot of artists, they farm to actually put themselves there. Recently we're talking about deduction from Davido's streams, and we still got Adekunle Gold getting deductions. We have a lot of artists getting deductions as a result of some kind of gimmicks out there. And not be only stream farms they make them deduct from you. There are some other factors you need to actually understand. Let's watch this.
So we built out a massive team that's looking around every corner, catching all the different tactics of artificial streaming, all different types. There's artists who know that they're buying a shady service because they want the numbers to look higher and they incorrectly think it's going to help them there. There's some who think they're paying for something legit because a lot of these services don't market themselves honestly. They'll act like it's a legit promo service, but actually it's botted streams, and I hate when artists fall prey to that. And then there's folks trying to do shady stuff, right? Like release music and get royalties from it. We're catching tons of artificial streams every month, and it's through all the obvious ways and all the new ways people try to find. Our team finds it every time we kind of detect an artificial stream. We're not paying out royalties for it. We're removing it from public metrics, so monthly listener count, all-time track stream count. It's not counting towards charts. And then as it starts to be more serious artificial streaming, that's when you might lose playlisting. You might get a penalty through your distributor. Some of the more kind of serious deterrents that we have to do to show how seriously we're taking it. And
okay, now I got to understand what this guy is actually saying about the whole thing, and a lot of people will still understand it from that point of view, because this man is trying to say that artists can be a victim of situation. You paid for promotional of your songs out there. You paid a particular agency instead of the agency now to promote the songs across maybe platforms so that a lot of people start streaming. These guys go buy streams. Depending on where it's cheaper, they will buy streams and make you believe that that the promoter and I make your stream they go up, and that can actually land you in problems. That is something I got to understand. And Burna Boy not lie about least paid stream in Nigeria. And then Buju actually said something about that, because a lot of people are trying to compare what Buju said and to what Burna Boy said. Let's listen to Buju.
If I do 1 million streams, I'm getting $7,500 on Apple Music. If you do 1 million streams on Spotify, you get $5,500. So you're already making money. All you need to do is just make sure the music is great enough for people to stream it.
Now you got to understand from Buju's corner. So what Buju is simply saying is that you can actually make like $7,000, $5,000 per 1 million streams. And this is not tied to Nigerian audience, because how many people they use premium services on Spotify for Nigeria? That is something you need to ask yourself. And that is why we are really getting least pay, streams in Nigeria. Because artists, if you stream artists, even though you get 1 billion stream for Nigeria, man, that artist never make much money. That is something you need to understand about that. What are your own takes about this kind of story? I want you to put your own comment in the comment section. Before I jump off, I want to say thank you guys for watching our videos, and thank you for the love so far. If you are new here, you can click the subscribe button below, the bell notification icon to always get notifications each time we upload our videos.